Yes. Welcome in. It's Balloon Party, 101 ESPN. Timothy, Michael, McKernan, Jackson, Bennett, Burkett. It's a program presented to you by Munganess, St. Louis Acura, and Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton, Toyota. And we welcome you to get involved at 314-399-9646. And we welcome you to participate in the YouTube chat, 101 ESPN YouTube channel. Get involved. And tell me how you would rank me and Jackson today. Do you like an older, zaddy energy? Or do you like an innocent little boy who's 26 but so wise for his years? What do you like?
I take the former.
Really?
Well, you know me and like
you like zaddy?
Well, you know my thing for like
you look for older guys?
Like with like Pedro Pascal, you know, like that's someone who you could like, you know, you could trust, but also has that still like a youthful energy while carrying a more seasoned body.
Are you saying my body's seasoned, boy?
No, but just like the little salt and pepper in the beard.
You got a little salt and pepper right here.
In the beard.
If you're watching on YouTube.
You know, it's like, you know, this guy.
What's your favorite salt and pepper song?
I don't know if I can name any off the top of my head.
Nice show prep.
The scoop thing that they overdid with that commercial?
The worst.
Well, that's the only one I could name.
I mean, I think it's Push It, isn't it?
Isn't that the
86?
That's the scoop song that they did.
No, they did a song called Shoop.
Oh, okay. Okay, you're right. Yeah, Push It. Yeah. Okay. Did Pharrell sample that? I think Pharrell sampled that.
We'll find out when Gabe joins us in September.
Gabe is the skateboard P expert.
That's correct. Your thoughts are welcome. Somebody just sent in their name and their birth date.
That's nice. Probably won something, I have to
I was
imagine.
about to say, I didn't know if that's what we're doing now. Like ASL. That's what we're doing on Balloon Party in the text inbox. Jackson, the YouTube chat is not up, and I want to talk with Tiny PP and Eric Nickens. There they are. John Fitzgerald, John Scores, Dylan Martinez, DJ Patty Cakes, who says the boy thing gives me creepy Hollywood energy.
Nice. I'm 26 years old, but I carry myself with a whimsical boy-like energy.
But I think you carry yourself like you're in your 40s, and I carry myself like I'm in my 20s.
Yes.
But yet I'm the 40-something, and you're the 20-something.
But I have this kind of unintimidating, approachable like nature that makes me seem boyish.
Right.
Not to mention,
isn't that my energy?
That's when I first think of Tim, I said, yes.
What was it again? Boyish, approachable.
Yeah, unintimidating. You know, just kind of like.
How can I be intimidating? I'm like a dwarf. And I say that respectfully.
You got a good like mile stare sometimes. You can get.
What does that mean?
Like when you stare, you know, there's like that. It's the poker stare. It's that like I can't read this guy. Can't read this guy. It's like a poker face kind of thing. That's what I think.
Phil Ivey? Do you know who Phil Ivey is?
I do. Doesn't he like enter into the tournaments on like a throne or something, or is that somebody else?
No. That's Phil Hellmuth.
That's right, Hellmuth. That's right. He's kind of a little banty rooster.
He's a banty rooster.
And so the idea is to get him on tilt.
Friendly as the day is long, though. I've texted with him about doing the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phil Ivey.
When he's playing.
Yeah.
No, Phil Ivey's like hardcore.
You can't move him.
Hardcore, rough, rugged, and raw. He's a Peter Pan for sure. That's from Dylan Martinez. Jackson gives off Peter Pan vibes. God, I don't see it that way.
Youth everlasting.
I really don't see it. Marsh said he would Freaky Friday you, Jackson. That's from Droid Effects. What does that mean?
Switch places?
What's going on with you and Marsh?
I don't know. I'm a big fan of Marsh. He was great on TMA when he filled in. Love seeing him.
Yeah, he's a gentleman, but I mean, what's Freaky Friday? Was that Lindsay Lohan?
It was Lindsay Lohan, yeah. Jamie Lee Curtis? No? Was that, who played her mom?
I'm going to say Jamie Lee Curtis.
I think it is.
So Marsh is like bringing out 20-year-old Lindsay Lohan movies and saying to Jamie Rivers, I want a Freaky Friday Jackson? I can't imagine Jamie Rivers would like that.
Yeah, it's Jamie Lee Curtis. Never doubt yourself. I want the context to that because I don't know what
the audio. Does somebody have that audio? Tim is intimidating like a hot chick you know is out of your league. That's from your mom's boyfriend.
I'm sorry, Ryder was trying to say something, but my right headphone doesn't work. So
Neither is mine.
my right. It's.
But my 2-year-old couldn't have destroyed your headphones like he destroyed mine. Because if he's over at your place, we got to have a little talk.
No, I would totally understand that. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, it's rendered me useless from communication with the great Mike
No,
Ryder.
they're going to text in 100 texts about you being rendered useless.
He probably is
Been doing this
saving.
long enough to know what's going on.
He's saving the audio in my folder. I can communicate with him via sonar.
Oh,
so
you guys are
I'll
like
pull up the audio.
Sting and his wife. It was a sports six-pack question. That's from Droid Effects. All right, so it was from the sports six-pack. I want to hear this audio. So Marsh wants to switch places with you. Would you switch places with him? Then you'd have hockey knowledge. You'd be tall with fabulous hair.
I like morning radio better. I like the mornings. I like having the afternoon.
You'd be on HD1.
Yeah, well, where am I right now? We're HD1.
Yeah, but that'd be afternoon drive.
Yeah, but this is the mid-morning conquest, brother. This is where the real soldiers go to work. No shots at anyone listening in drive time, but this is where I feel.
The greats are working 1-hour shifts.
Yeah, damn right. These greats are. I love all those guys in the fast lane. They're truly world-class people and super talented, including Marshy. But I think
so. You're paying a compliment to Jamie Rivers right there.
Jamie Rivers, Kerry Davis, Anthony Stelter, outstanding. Truly, big fans.
Okay.
Big fans
I
of
never know
everyone.
where
on the
you are
station.
with Rivers. I feel like it's a day-by-day thing around here. A lot of tension in the building with you and Rivers.
I give him picks for the home run derby thing they do.
You're bonding.
Well, I'm kind of ice cold, but that's more of a reflection. But I'm showing my work, so it's not just like a Piddles feels situation.
I get it.
I'm putting in the work.
I know you have that magic website. Which one of your coworkers would you swap lives with? That was the question, according to Droid Effects in the YouTube chat.
Fair question. Hold on, I'm trying to pull up.
Oh, we got the audio. Ladies and gentlemen, Jackson Bennett Burkett has the audio. We are about to hear from Marsh. He wants to play Freaky Friday with Jackson. I don't know if this goes on at sports talk radio stations around the country where producers play Freaky Friday with each other, but that's what's going on here at 101 ESPN. All right.
Here we go.
Question number 1.
All right, we got a question from Tanisha in the Snake Pit. If you could switch lives with any coworker for a week, who would it be?
This one's easy.
Jamie Rivers.
This one's easy.
It's Jamie.
Not even close. It's Andrew Marsh.
Absolutely.
No kids. I love my kids. I love my kids. I do.
Andrew Marsh.
Love them.
Yeah.
But you're talking about somebody who doesn't go to sleep until 3 a.m.
Well, neither does Marshy.
No. But for different reasons. He's not running 9 companies.
Yeah, that's true.
He's not. He doesn't have multiple careers like the three of us. That's this guy.
This is true.
You
Marsh,
kidding me?
You know what?
It's Marsh
That you sold me.
or T-Bone.
I'll go Marshy. Marshy. He's got the beard, that lovely hair flowing out the back. I know it's not.
Well, I don't think we don't become Marsh. It's just
No, yeah, you do. No, you do.
It's like Freaky Friday.
It's like the movie. Yeah, Freaky
all right.
Friday.
Well, Marsh.
Good luck.
Are all 3 of you going to be
Yeah,
Marshy at once?
different weeks.
All 3 of us are going to enter you at the same time.
That's
I'll be
right.
saying that audio.
Hope you like it.
Well, I'll be switching with somebody too.
Yeah.
Yeah, who are you going to choose?
If I had to pick between you 3,
Well, no, you don't have to do. You don't have to do us. You can do somebody else on the station.
You can enter anyone you want.
Yeah.
it's a great question. I really don't know. Maybe we'll go with Jamie. Seems like he can have a good time.
Yeah. Now, you got to be on the ice at 5 a.m. for camps.
Oh, wait, that's right.
And, you're talking about taking on everybody's lives.
There are some benefits.
I'll stick with Jamie right now. Maybe I'll change it as the day goes along. We'll see. We'll see what.
Marshy and I have
happens.
mutually entered each other at this
That's
time.
nice. That's good. You guys are a good fit for each other.
For the most part.
Good question, Tanisha.
Yeah, for
Very
sure.
good.
Good question.
So false. He did. He
We
picked.
played that whole thing.
We did the 2.5.
Marsh wants to be Jamie Rivers.
Yeah, it's totally the person lied to us. We've been lied to.
Who lied to us?
We've been duped. First of all, worth every second of the audio.
Jamie Rivers, and this is the greatest compliment I can give a broadcaster, is ready for TMA.
Full on. But I was not mentioned even once. I wasn't even option B.
Neither one of us were mentioned. And we are on the prime. We are in the Huntley of radio real estate, 1 hour midday.
Seriously.
And all due respect, 3 hours of HD2.
Right. And the best part about mid-mornings is you can just play the audio from drive time, and then it's your show now.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, it's like we do the 6 o'clock replay show at 10 o'clock.
That's right. This is early replay, in case you missed it yesterday.
Droid Effects insists that later on in the show he changed it. You.
Okay. Mike Ryder's working hard to try to get us the audio. He's doing 1,000 other things, so I'm not going to be like sharpshooting him on that. That audio is worth every second of it, so I don't care. But so clearly I'm option B, though.
So Kerry Davis, Jamie Rivers, and Anthony Stalter are all entering Marsh.
That's what it seems like, simultaneously.
Boy, they got a good thing going.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, 4 hours of sports talk radio brings you close.
Amen. Who would you like to switch places with? 314-399-9646. And then, of course, the YouTube chat is active as the day is long. I Hate Paper Straws, Droid Effects, Tiny PP, and Willie are all in there, and they're talking it over, Jackson. They're talking it over.
People are insistent that he changes his answer later in the
To
program.
you.
I guess.
I wonder what the reasoning would be.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get. Hey, Ryder, he's on. We'll get the audio.
No, I know. But I'm trying to think of it before I hear it.
I mean, me and Marsh are pretty similar.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know what he gains by becoming you.
4:30 a.m. wake ups.
Yeah.
Receding hairline.
Yeah.
Like
the love of the text inbox.
Remarkably pale.
Right.
Like memorably. Like you're like, oh boy.
I think I got to tell you something. And I'm being very serious about this here. You overstate the pale thing.
Yeah.
You overstated the bald thing. And I guess I look back on it now, if you've really lost 25 pounds since you shared a bed with Lisa Ann. But I didn't think of you at all as heavy. Now, I know we live in St. Louis, but I didn't think of you at all as heavy. But if you've lost 25 pounds,
Yeah. Well, yeah.
now I feel like you're more confident.
Yeah, a little bit. It was just, weight you can like get hit under the face. My face is right now. Like if I showed you
You have fat face. You got fat face.
if I showed you a side by side of my face, I think
Really?
like I
gotta
can
do
tell.
that.
Yeah, I have a picture
Before
of
and
it.
after.
I have a picture of it. I'll show you.
Has it been Ozempic season?
No. Eat less, move more. It's kind of.
Look at you.
It's kind of
like a TikTok guy.
It's not
yelling at
easy.
me.
I would say that here's what I say. Weight loss is not easy, but the formula is simple. If you take in less calories than you burn, you will lose weight. It's just science.
That's correct.
But it's just saying that.
That's why I wear this Whoop.
Yeah.
Check out my Whoop. It never leaves my wrist.
Because I feel like when I say like weight loss is easy, like that's not the case. But the formula itself is simple. So know how many calories you naturally burn a little bit more.
Your
eat less than that.
TDEE, is that what you're saying? Your TDE?
So that's all I did was
Total daily expended energy? Is that what that is?
Yep.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, you just know that number.
And that number decreases with age, I believe.
Yeah, mine's
it's essentially your metabolic rate.
Yeah. So they
I'm sure
say
a
like
doctor may correct me on that.
So,
or
like-
somebody who did graduate from college.
on nutrition facts, you'll see like 2,000 calories, daily value, daily calories.
I calculate mine as 1,700. That's probably low.
But it's better to be
Absolutely.
too low than too high.
We're going to air our expenses on the liberal side while we estimate our revenue on the conservative side.
Right. Yeah. So like mine's is around, well, I just use 2,000, but mine's a little higher. But then, burn more working out and then eat less than that number. And then I lost weight.
You track your burn every day, bro? Maybe
At
that's what Marsh wants.
the time I was wearing like a wearable, like
Whoop.
similar, very similar. It wasn't the same brand, but similar. So I was tracking that and then just eating a little bit less. But it also should be not like I was at the time when I lost it like 24, 25.
Yeah, what'd you do?
My metabolism's still good. Like it burns really fast.
Well, yeah,
so
you're
it's
26
easier.
years old, baby.
Right. So if I was 36 or 46, it probably wouldn't have been as easy.
That's right.
But I knew I could do it. And then it's really kind of interesting. Like once you start losing like 5 pounds, then you're like, oh my God, this is working. And then you're like, you like can't wait to wake up in the morning to get on the scale to see where you're at. It's fun to an extent. It's not fun. I like to reference Charles Barkley, who said, I remember my diet in Philly. If it tastes good, spit it out. And I always thought that was really funny.
It's another good guideline. All right. We'll have Marsh playing Freaky Friday with Jackson. And Jackson, today, the series of questions which you previewed on TMA this morning is called what?
Enter the Woo Piddle, featuring the Pizza.
Nice. Nice. I heard the first question. I like the first question quite a bit. Why don't we why don't you give the first question and let the people ponder it?
Yeah.
Because I like this question.
So, of course, yesterday, Bradley Carnell and STL
Happened
City.
right on our show.
Yeah, right there at 10:30 yesterday. They parted ways. So they did a press conference, as that's often the case with professional sports teams after they fire a coach. Lutz Pfannenstiel, who is the director of football operations, is quoted saying that if Bradley Carnell and City would have won on Saturday, he would still be the head coach. And my question from there is, do you find that at all strange or even arbitrary? And then also a win. Also, am I making too much of this? Do you think this is often the thought process of front office folks when deciding to part ways with a coach mid-season?
I like this question.
Does the process of changing direction always need a culmination?
There you go. Culmination usually being a loss. Who would have thought it would be a loss in a dome in Vancouver? But alas, it was. What do you think? What do you think of Jackson's queries there? 314-399-9646. Because it's not an MLS/city specific question. You know,
Right.
Take your pick. Like, I mean, I recall the morning after Berube was terminated.
Yeah.
It's like it couldn't have been more textbook.
Right.
It was a Kyrou giveaway on an empty net and a play that you go, and a move that was the net empty too early, something both had been critical. And then, you know, if the Blues win that game, is he fired? There's no way. Right. It might have been trending in that direction, but I don't think he loses the job. So I agree with the premise. All right, we'll talk about that in the next segment, in addition to more of Jackson's tribute to the Wu-Tang Clan here on Balloon Party. This is 101 ESPN. James Carlton, Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency, 376 5-star reviews. I'm going to do it right now, Jackson. James Carlton State Farm, Google. All right, 376 Google reviews. 5 stars across the board. Let's see what I got here. Mary Wash wrote this a month ago. Mike, who is one of the staff members at James Carlton at the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency, was really great with helping my husband and myself switch our home and car insurance. He answered all questions and helped get our payment way down while still keeping great insurance. We are very happy with his service. Thanks, Mike. That is one of the many people who work at James's office. James has a huge staff to make sure you get customer service like the one you see referenced from Mary and 375 other people on Google. It's James Carlton, my insurance agent. CarltonInsurance.net, 314-961-4800. If your insurance costs a leg and an arm, call James Carlton, State Farm. Welcome back to Balloon Party 101 ESPN. My name's Tim McKernan. That's Jackson Burkett. And it turns out that on the fast lane, Marsh and the Playful Posse, they were playing Freaky Friday questions.
Essentially. Sports six-pack.
And Marsh asked Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers, and Kerry Davis if they could switch place with one person on the station, who it would be. And Marsh initially said Jamie Rivers, but then he altered his answer. And we've got that audio. Thank you to Mike Ryder for delving in. Here we go.
I've changed my answer.
Yep.
I think I would become Piddles.
Okay.
With all that statistic knowledge within his head.
Yeah,
He's helping Jamie out with the home run derby challenge.
We got to figure that out. Yeah.
I think I would become Piddles.
Get here early. We'll get to him early, Jamie. Get him change sides.
Who, him?
No, Piddles.
Oh,
It's Piddles predicts.
Oh,
Piddles won't change sides.
What are you doing to that young man? What have you done to him? What have you done to Piddles?
What are you talking about?
Kerry's going
I
to
don't like
Piddles,
where
you
you're,
can talk to us.
I don't like where you're headed with this, Kerry. And you're free to do whatever you want to him. That's what he said. What did I do to him? I said, Kerry, you're free to do it.
Oh, goodness.
Yikes.
All right, so not much reasoning, but I want to clip off. I think it was
He wants your knowledge.
Yeah, well.
I mean, so many people who listen to Balloon Party always say, man, where does Jackson get this knowledge?
Yeah, we can't stop the text. Like the text line breaks because people send it in so often. I want to clip off. I think it's Stelter just saying, nice kid.
We got to figure that out. Yeah.
Nice
I would
kid.
become
Oh my God, it might have been Marshy, but that's one of the funniest things I've ever heard. Oh my God, that paid dividends massively.
Outstanding. Why don't I get those questions on the Piddles Wu-Tang Clan?
All right, let's answer. Who would you switch? Any coworker? Let's say Olive Hubbard. Let's keep it to 101, so because some people might not listen to some of the other Hubbard stations.
Let's see.
I go Marshy. I return the favor.
Yeah, I that's my honest. That's where I honestly go.
Yeah, I go Marshy all day.
I mean, I can't imagine going through life over 5'8", much less whatever the hell he is.
He's like 6'1" and some change.
Really? I would think he's taller than that.
He's probably about he's tall. He's a little taller than me, about the same height as Rock. And they're about.
All I know is when he fills in on TMA, and don't get me wrong, a lot of the TMA male listeners really are into the guys who host the show.
It's true.
But it seems like they're really, really into Marshy Marsh and that Playful Posse.
Yeah.
Nice kid.
Nice kid. Yeah.
Yeah, I go with Marshy.
I mean, you sit there and you go, yeah, Jamie Rivers has to get up at, and then still do afternoon drive.
Yeah, and do his Bally's work, He's great at it, and and it's great for his career, but it's a lot.
It's classy of you to tip your cap to him, knowing that you almost had that job
Right.
as the Blues color analyst.
Right. Well, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Just kidding. Jamie knows. I'm always giving them the info.
How about this?
Ice
I'd
cold
like to
though.
trade places with my wife's boyfriend. That's from the 618.
Yeah, on TMA, that seems to be an issue. Someone
Yeah,
basement,
we got a TMA listener.
Orange Theory.
Yeah, he texts in his Butch Patrick's werewolf doll. And unfortunately, there's an Orange Theory trainer named Derek who's moved into his house. And Butch Patrick's werewolf doll has been relegated to the basement. But the toughest thing for him is that now his children are calling Derek Dad.
Oh, yeah.
And he can hear it through the door.
Sometimes when I'm having a really tough day, I say to myself, well, at least I'm not Butch Patrick's werewolf doll. And I think that's the perspective we all need.
That's good perspective. Jackson, your question that you deep teased.
Right. So I actually have the audio up of Lutz Fan Steel answering the question about whether our friend Bradley Cardinals would have been fired had they won on Saturday. Here was his response and then the basis for this question.
It always comes down for me that in recent weeks we did look flat. We did look not as sharp as we were last year. And that is the moment when you feel you have to make a change. And that's why we did it.
If Saturday night goes different, you had a 2-0 lead. If you guys hang on to that, you win Saturday night. Is Bradley still the coach today?
If you win on Saturday night, Bradley will still be the coach today, yes.
So to me, the first part of that statement is saying we've been flat over some weeks. We haven't looked good this year. All this stuff about, the reasons why he gets fired. And then the next question is, had they won on Saturday against Vancouver, would he have still been the coach? And to which Blitz fans still answered yes. So my question is, Do you think that this is often the thought process of front office people when deciding to part with a coach mid-season, and does the process of changing direction always need a culmination?
Well, rarely does it seem to me a coach is fired after a win.
No.
Correct?
Yeah, rarely. Very rarely.
Mike Schiltz was a unique one. I realized they lost that playoff game with the Dodgers, but overall, the team had gone on a tear just to get into that one-game playoff in 2021. But as acknowledged, that was not about performance as much as it was about philosophical differences, as the Cardinals termed it. So as I listen to that, the clearer indication is it was trending in that direction. And a win, let's say they hold on to the 2-0 lead, Jackson, because I don't like when you say 2-0.
When the reporter asked that, I was thinking Lutz is like gripping his pen real tight, trying not to correct him and say 2-0.
Then as Lutz says, he's still the manager. Mm-hmm. Thank you. But he's on thin ice.
Sure.
The Berube thing is the one that I keep going back to, because it's relative to expectations and the way the team's playing. And that's why I'm just like, the expectation, they were kind of matched up with the expectations. With Ali Marmol, which right now it's quiet, but I mean, they lose this Cardinal thing is like a day-by-day existence. To me, it's disingenuous. And by that, I mean, it's like if they win tonight, the Cardinals are at a season high, 4 games over 500. But those who've been around this market for a while have seen some really good teams, and really good teams are rarely 4 games over 500 in July. Mm-hmm. It can happen. The 2006 and 2011 Cardinals did not have great regular seasons. They won the World Series. So with that established, you can kind of get an idea on a trend. But my premise with Marmol, while I realize he may not be popular with fans, is I don't know who comes in and manages what the Cardinals had last year or have this year, and they're like 15 games over 500. Or in the case of last year, they're 500. So therefore, I assess it more as a roster thing. With Carnell, you started to see it tail at the end of last season.
Yeah.
And it looked like the opposition had figured out the way to handle what City was doing. And yes, the system may have worked for the expansion team because it was so unique, but then it became clear, let's just let them have the ball, which is quite counterintuitive, but that is how you shut them down.
Yeah.
And then you had the bad showing in the playoffs. He said it wasn't about the playoffs, and then you have the start to this season. Plus, they're up 2-0, and by the 60th minute, they're trailing on Saturday. I understand it. So I get it. And I also get him saying if they win, he still has the job.
Right.
So I follow it, and I don't have a problem with it.
I think I'm in the same boat as you, where I totally follow the logic. However, I still think it's arbitrary, because like you play out the hand. What if he wins 3 or 4 more games following Vancouver?
Well, then great. So that's why.
But is he back in the good graces, even though that they've had a much longer streak of playing poorly?
Yeah, but it is different, because these games, even though there are a lot of MLS games, it's a long season. It still has greater value than like a baseball game or even a hockey game or NBA game for that matter. And so, then that means the ship may have been righted.
Right.
So, and here's the other thing, and this is like a sports talk radio killer, but it is true. There can be other things going on. I'm not saying that there were, just in general, for any organization, any school, there can be other things going on that factor in that, because ideally the parties involved are what I would consider professional or just self-preserving, because they know becoming the guy who pops off is not good for their next job opportunity. That they might go, okay, in addition to the team losing, we got this going on. And in the case of City, you had, the Big Sam situation that was, I think, something that probably played a role in this.
Yep.
So in addition to that, you have a team that faded in the second half last year, quickly eliminated from the postseason, and then had the start to this season. I follow it, and I also follow that if he would have won on Saturday night, that he keeps the job, but it doesn't mean he keeps the job indefinitely.
Right.
He might have kept the job for another game or two.
Right. It's the proverbial.
So I do follow it.
Yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying.
I do follow it. I'm trying to think of a firing any sport, and perhaps maybe the most recent one where you go, what in the hell?
The Raptors fired,
of course,
Dwayne Casey, and then like the next day he was named Coach of the Year.
How about that?
Yeah. That stuff happens. I think Schilt is a great example. Obviously didn't have the playoff performance they wanted, but it was one game. They had won on a 17 winning streak. Seemed like things were going in the right direction, and then fired. So I do get it. Like if you fire a coach after a win or after a run of success, it's like really weird to people. But I don't think we've ever like really confronted why it's always like this one loss. Like in the NFL, a guy's gonna get fired on the plane ride home after a certain loss. But had they won that game, would that prove? Obviously not, but it can be somewhat arbitrary to me.
I would love at some point for Mike Schilt and John Mozeliak and Bill DeWitt to talk openly about what happened. It's kind of like I want to know what happened with Quinn Snyder at Missouri, what happened with Tony La Russa and Ozzie Smith. And part of the way people will view these things is whoever they like, and whoever they don't like, they will take that particular side. Mm-hmm. And so the facts can become, oh, then he's lying. Why is he lying? Well, I don't like him. Or I do like this guy, and therefore if he's talking bad about my guy, then he's got to be lying. That's kind of the game.
Song and dance.
But those really, you can have a falling out at the end of a career. That happened a lot because the Cardinals had some great players who aged and then faded. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about in the earlier part of this century. But the La Russa Ozzie thing, that's especially for a guy like Ozzie Smith, who is, as A+ as it gets. And personally, I like La Russa. I realize to those who didn't interact with him, like was my job to do doing television. But I liked him. I respected him, and I know after losses, it just was that's just the way that he conducted himself. But he didn't conduct himself that way any other time. He was just intense when it came to that. So for those two to have that kind of falling out, I think Mike Schilt's early termination has kind of almost martyred him in the eyes of Cardinal fans, and that he's turned into something that he wasn't. It's not that he was bad. It's just he's not as good as he's been turned into over the last couple of years.
Well, the direction the team has gone since is a huge
So then the correlation is Mike Schilt was the key, and I just don't see it that way. And then the Quinn Snyder thing, I think probably would be the most titillating one of them all, actually. All right, your thoughts are welcome. 314-399-9646 in the YouTube chat as well. This is Balloon Party on 101 ESPN. Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota online at stlouisacura.com and altontoyota.com. That's where you can go shopping right now for a brand new Acura MDX 2024 Acura MDX Premium. And you can get it with a TMA loyal listener special that we bring over to Balloon Party of no money down, and $589 a month for a brand new Acura MDX Premium. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Jamie Burkhardt. Thank you, Peter Munganess, for the wonderful deals. Plus, even if you didn't get your car from Munganess St. Louis Acura, Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota, you can get your car serviced at Munganess St. Louis Acura and Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota. That's where both my car and my wife's cars are as we speak, because we are getting them repaired with the great service department and the work of Ryan Seiberg. It's Munganess, St. Louis Acura, and Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota online at stlouisacura.com and altontoyota.com.
This is Action Jackson with a Sports Center update. Driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Cardinals back in action after an off day yesterday. They are in Pittsburgh taking on the Pirates. First pitch at 5:40 p.m. Kyle Gibson on the mound for your St. Louis Cardinals. And yesterday, St. Louis and Jason Tatum agrees to a 5-year, $314 million Supermax extension. That's the largest contract in NBA history. That was another Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Welcome back. Well, Bloom Party. 101 ESPN. What happened there, Jackson? What
No.
happened? Let's break that down.
So I have...
'Cause I can't imagine I made a mistake.
No, it was totally on me.
Good.
I have like a certain set of these return beds I like to play. This is music you're hearing right now is a return bed, and they got all out of order. So in a absolute haste, because I had to work quickly, I just put in anything because it's better to come back with the wrong music than dry.
Got it. All right.
So I messed up. My bad.
All right, I like it. There it is. Jackson Burkett behind the scenes.
Just being earnest.
Jackson, we are in the midst of Wu-Tang Piddles.
Enter the Woo Piddles, and I am the Pizza. So let's continue to bring the heat. Tim, fun little stat I saw yesterday on the St. Louis baseball Cardinals. This was courtesy of St. Louis Today, STL Today, Daniel Guerrero, because Derek Gould is out on vacation. So Daniel Guerrero was hosting the chat. But the Cardinals have a 43-40 record, despite having a minus 40 run differential. I'm going to say that again, minus 40.
Yeah.
Now, since their May 12th revival, the Cardinals are 28-16, but their run differential is only a plus 12.
Yeah.
Does this information give you a pessimistic view on the outlook of the current club, as they are basically only in a decent position because their bullpen can handle tight games? Or do you want to rights holder B button this thing and say this is their team is very tested in close games and will thrive based upon that when the games really start to matter in September and hopefully October?
Let me start with this. I hate to go Q for Q with you, question for question. But run differential to me, it
doesn't tell the full story.
I don't know. I think it can, perhaps if a team is great or if a team is dreadful. But the Cardinals are kind of a middling team. There are a hell of a lot of middling teams this year.
Especially in the NL.
And I don't know. Here's where I'll give you where I think you can get the most value on point differential. Where do you think I'm going to go on this?
Hockey.
No, college football.
Oh, okay.
In a big way. In a big way.
Because you take care of the little guys, and then
to me, it is of the 6 major North American professional sports. That is the one that I think is the most telling. In other words, God, I'm trying to think of, maybe there's a recent one. I guess Florida State might be, but the Florida State thing is so unfair because they didn't have their team when they played Georgia in the bowl. But you can usually tell, even if a team is undefeated or has one loss, if they have a bunch of near-death experiences, and whether they come out ahead or behind, but a bunch of near-death experiences, that's indicative that they're not as dominant as perhaps the record would indicate. And as somebody who watches so much college football, I feel like that's the one that is most telling. And I want to make it clear that that does not mean that is an absolute correlation. With baseball, I just feel like it's kind of, you have some games where if it gets away, you throw out some rando, like a position player to finish the game off, and he gives up a bunch of runs. I don't see it that way.
I thought this weekend series with the Reds was very indicative of that. The Cardinals split the series 2-2. However, they got outscored in a major way. So kind of it's when they lose, it's like, all right, we're just going to lose by a lot. And if we win, it's going to be tight. And so the record might not tell a full picture. The pitch or the run differential also wouldn't paint a full picture. However, I just find it interesting that even on this run of success, it's still only a plus 12.
And the thing is, I get record-wise, I suppose you would call. I don't feel like this market, whether it be people live in St. Louis, they live well outside of St. Louis and are Cardinal fans, would consider, what is it, the stat that everybody goes back to, May 12th? I don't think people would be calling it a run of success. Maybe they would. In terms of, again, my bar is having been lucky enough to be doing this for as long as I've been doing it, going back to 2000. So I've seen damn near nothing but either really good or great regular season teams. And this just isn't one.
Right.
It just isn't. And it's not even really, like, I'm not even like debating it. It just isn't. It doesn't mean in 2024 that it can't go on a run and win the World Series, as counterintuitive as that may sound. But that's the deal now with the playoffs. And so I just look at it and I go, yeah, they're right. How often do we say it? I think you said it too, but I like what they did this offseason. I get what they're doing this offseason, and in the Central, 83-ish wins, give or take, is where I think they'll be, which is what they're on pace for right now. Could win the Central. If not, gets you in the playoffs, and then that's whatever. So I also recall saying I could see him winning the World Series. There's no chance that this is a 100-win team. So it sounds so ridiculous because, and I know there's, some people have been longtime Cardinal fans who listen to this show and 101 ESPN, and it used to be that if you won the World Series, you were a great team.
Right.
And I think guys on the 2006 Cardinals would say, yeah, we weren't a great team, but we won. Sure. I recall Jim Edmonds specifically saying, yeah, of all the teams that I was on, that was the least good one, and that's the one that we won the World Series with. The 2003 team was better, and that didn't go to the playoffs. So it's just the way that the format has changed. It's kind of NCAA tournament-ish. So I don't know. I just don't look at run differential as being indicative, and I also don't. It just doesn't. I don't know. And that's the thing. 2004, they were middling for like the first month and a half. But as somebody who loves watching games, you could sense that it was there. With this, if it's going to be there, some guys are going to have to do things that they haven't done the first 3 months of the season. And then also you have Newt Barr and Edmund coming back. And perhaps that either leads to a boost or it just takes people out of the lineup who aren't producing, i.e., let's say Gorman and whatever in the world's going on there. I mean, to simplify it, he doesn't make contact often. If he does, it can go a long way. So it's just kind of a middling club. But what exhausts me a bit is if they win tonight, then we'll do this manual stimulation session about, 4 games over 500, here they come. And then if they lose, I don't know, Marmol, maybe they should sell. And it's like, you got about 80 plus games now of a sample size. One night isn't going to change the previous 80 games. Yep. And so that's what exhausts me about it a bit. The fact that they're in the 80 to 85 win total, that's about what I would expect. Yeah. It would shock me based on pattern of past practice if all of a sudden they go, okay, we're going to go out and get this player and now become a team that is poised to, regular season wise compete for 95 wins. It's just not what they are.
Right. Especially given the division that they're in, is spending that money worth it when it's a crapshoot essentially when you get to October?
Yeah, because you're probably not going to be anything but the 3 seed.
Right. Yeah. Even at your best, even if the Cardinals.
Then the issue with the damn system is you get the 1 or 2, and it's not necessarily a reward. But most likely the Central winner is going to be the 3. Yeah. It's not a lock, and so the Cardinals have what I guess the Mets won last night. So a game and a half lead on the Mets for the second wild card or third wild card spot. Right. Yeah, it's just kind of middling. And for me, it takes away from it. It takes away from the joy of the regular season and what used to be a pennant race. Because it's like, okay, well, they get in the playoffs and then we'll just, off they go and we'll see which one of the 6 navigates it. But I also think what it does is it causes front offices to be conservative. Because it's not let's be the best, it's let's get in and hope for the best. Right. And I don't like that. I don't think a lot of fans do either. Your thoughts, 314-399-9646. This is Balloon Party, 101 ESPN. Welcome back. It's Balloon Party, 101 ESPN. Tim McKernan, Jackson Burkett with you for another 4 minutes. And Jackson's going to maximize the time by asking a wonderful question here on the Wu-Tang Piddles.
That's right. You know, I'm in the same situation I was yesterday. I have a really big question I want to ask, but there's not. We just don't have the time to answer it in full. So I'm going to save it again for tomorrow for the Wide Berth Wednesday.
Save it again, save it again, save it again.
Wide berth being, I think the key word there. So I think it's great. I got some more stats.
Good.
People like stats. This one's courtesy of Bernie's column, who always does great work in the stat department. In the month of June, Nolan Gorman, Nolan Arenado, and Paul Goldschmidt had just 2 hits with runners in scoring position on 28 at-bats. And while Gorman had 6 home runs in the month of June, he only had 2 since June 4th. Gorman's slugging percentage has dropped 185 points since June 4th. I'm going to say that again. 185 points since June 4th.
You would describe that at Horton Watkins as precipitous.
Yeah, it could only be described as such. And more so than that, he leads the major leagues in strikeout percentage. Do these stats concern you for the team going forward, or can you also spin this and say the team has been winning despite its power core been effectively rendered useless?
I agree with the second portion there.
Yeah, that even though that they don't have, it's kind of impressive.
The thing about it is, though, it just would really surprise me. I expect if you got to buy stock in one of the 3 guys you just stated: Goldschmidt, Arenado, and Gorman. Who do you think I'm buying?
Gorman.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
And it sucks. I mean, it sounds insane if you would have been asking that question in 2022.
Yeah, definitely.
But at this point, unfortunately, I think that this is what we've got with Arenado and Goldschmidt. Don't get me wrong, there'll be flickers, so when he hits a home run, you can tweet at me, and say, well, we're all the Arenado haters now. I'm not hating. I'm just saying this is unfortunately about, I guess 7 months of baseball worth of 6 months of baseball worth of, I'm talking about going back to last year and then the start of this year. As far as the timeline, Gorman tends to do this, not this dramatically.
This stretch has been really rough.
This is brutal as far as the contact and lack thereof. So with that established, I expect him to have a stretch where he goes off.
Yeah.
Like he'd be a great daily fantasy play right now because nobody will take him, and he's going to have a game where he's going to hit 2 home runs, and it's just kind of inevitable to me. But do you expect that from Goldschmidt and Arenado at this point?
Nope.
Of course it can happen, but you don't necessarily expect it. Katie Wu had a column where she took letters from readers today on The Athletic, and I saw that she was asked a variety of questions, Gorman certainly being one of them, but also about Jordan Walker, which is one of the things I keep bringing up, and how the Cardinals are essentially at peace with leaving him there, in part because of performance, but also in part because there's a feeling amongst the organization, some in the organization, that they rushed him to the major leagues. And I feel like and this is actually defending the organization, which I realize in St. Louis is an unpopular position to take. You get called the rights holder and all that, but I hold no rights. I don't blame them. He was killing it. The guy was killing it. He just fell off dramatically, but he was killing it and was considered one of, if not the top prospect in the game.
Yep.
There was no talk around. Listen, once it fell off, it was like, I wonder if they rushed him. But there was not that thought process that maybe he should stay down. If anything, if you go back to spring 2023, it's like, I wonder if the Cardinals are going to use some BS to not put him on the roster.
100%.
That's what the conversation was. So for the Cardinals, if in fact that is how they feel, I would just absolutely disagree with that. The bigger question is not who to blame, is what is going on and can it be restored? Yeah. Because when you're talking about a guy who could have been a cornerstone for the organization, now being, 2+ months down there, that is, and it's not like you look at the outfield and go, well, I mean, there's just not a spot for him to play.
Jose Fermin.
So that is of note on The Athletic this morning. Time for us to go. BK and Ferrario are up next. For Jackson Bennett Burkett, I'm Tim McKernan. This has been Balloon Party on 101 ESPN.